Welcome, everyone. I'm Tony Segreto, a proud member of the Orange Bowl Committee and a longtime sports and news anchor in South Florida and NBC. I want to welcome you to In the Trenches, the first in an exciting college football video series featuring behind-the-scenes look at some of the most iconic Orange Bowl games through the eyes of some of the great players and coaches who were part of them. Today, I'll tell you what a way to kick this off, because this has to be one of the most exciting games ever in Orange Bowl history, because we're going to take a look at the 1994 Orange Bowl game between number 1 Florida State and number 2 Nebraska, and what would give Bobby Bowden his first ever national championship at the expense of Tom Osborne, as well as the 1995 Orange Bowl when the number 1 ranked Huskers beat the number 3 ranked Miami Hurricanes to give Osborne finally his first national championship. And we are so honored today, because I'm joined by Charlie Ward and William Floyd from FSU and Ed Stewart from Nebraska. Now, just for some context here, real quick bullet points of bios. I'm sure all of you know Charlie, 1993 Heisman Trophy winner, 2-sport star at FSU, number 1 draft pick of the Knicks, in fact, played 12 seasons in the NBA. And now he is currently the head basketball coach at Florida High School in Tallahassee. Now, in that Orange Bowl game, he was FSU's MVP. Didn't throw for a touchdown, but boy, he was instrumental in that win. Threw for 24 for 43 for 286 yards. And how about William Floyd? Leading rusher for FSU in that 1994 game, first-round pick of the 49ers, played in Super Bowl 29, won that with the 49ers. In fact, he was the first rookie to score 3 touchdowns in a playoff game and had a really nice 7-year NFL career. And for those of you who are big FSU football fans, you hear William every Saturday and hopefully Saturdays to come, because William is the right arm to the legendary Gene Deckerhoff on all the FSU football broadcasts. And when he's not doing that, William is really doing something great for the community when he runs his family's nonprofit community benefit foundation, the William Floyd Bar None Foundation. In that Orange Bowl game, of course, 7 carries, 53 yards, and he had that touchdown, albeit controversial. We'll get to that in a minute. And then, you knew, Ed, I had a protector here, buddy. And Ed Stewart, 4-year starter at Nebraska at linebacker, played in 4 consecutive Orange Bowl games. Of course, the loss to Florida State, the win over Miami to give Tom his first national championship, 26 tackles in 4 Orange Bowls. Gentlemen, I can't even begin to tell you how honored and pleased I am to have you all here. Welcome, all different parts of the country. And we have to start by asking you this question. Other than the obvious, right? Other than the obvious, okay, I remember the loss and I remember the win. This game had so many different factors in it, from great plays to misplays to missed calls to kicks out of bounds that gave good field position to penalties that were unnecessary. What sticks out in your mind the most when you reflect back on this national championship game? And Charlie, we'll defer to you first.
Well, appreciate you having me on. And first off, and what's up, Ed and William? Appreciate you guys very much. And the game was one of those games where it was a championship game, and we knew that it was going to be a tough game going in. And a lot of people were giving us the edge because we, had a very good season that entire year. And we weren't disrespecting their defense from an offensive standpoint and vice versa. As far as our defense was concerned, one of the things that really stood out to me was just the way how physical they were with us from a defensive standpoint, and disrupting our routes and just making it tough on us. They mixed up the fronts and blitz guys from different places, and so it was very tough sledding for us. But we were able to make plays when we needed it. I remember just being able to drive the football down the field, but we weren't able to score. But we were kicking field goals and taking advantage of at least good field position, and so or good drives that we put together. But really, when it came down to it, we were able to come up with a drive in the end where we got some fortunate calls on that drive, and we were able to kick the game-winning field goal. And so just the drive alone was worth the wait to the end to see who was going to win the game. And that's the one thing I remember the most is just going into the huddle, knowing that we had a minute and 16 seconds on the clock, and we had to drive how far it was, but we had to put plays together. And we had been doing it all season, and we had gotten to a point where we needed to execute, and we were able to do that, along with a little assistance. But when it was all said and done, Scott Bentley came through for us and kicked the game-winning field goal, and we were able to at least give ourselves an opportunity to win the game.
Who would have thought that with the history of Florida State field goal kickers, wide left, wide right, that it would come down to a field goal kicker and Scott Bentley to win this thing? And you talk about being physical. They sacked you 5 times. That in of itself kind of tells you how physical they were. And William, some of those fortunate calls, one of them certainly came your way. And we need to start. Well, I want to hear your most memorable moment, but we will get to that fumble that, we're not sure about that, right? Or that's
I don't know about. I'm still looking at the record books. I don't even know. I can't recall it as much. It's I have a hard time recalling it. But I guess we'll get to that. But I guess, Mom, I guess to me it would be that last drive too. The last drive where we had to get it done, and I think it was a 4th and 1. I think we're about on the 50-yard line or something like that, and I was thinking, man, this coach going to give me this ball. Is he going to put it on me, give me a shot to get this 4th and 1? And, man, I think I just barely, skated over the first down line by the hairs of my chin, and was able to pick up that first down because it was like, I'm thinking to myself, man, if I don't get this, it's over. It's 4th and 1. There's nothing. It's over. And, the offensive line opened up just enough of a hole for me. I always say, Gail Sayers said he needed 14 inches. That was about 18 inches that I was able to squeeze through. So I was able to squeeze through and get that first down. And then I think the next play is one of those fortunate calls that we had where Warwick caught the ball and picked up some yardage. And then I think he got hit out of bounds by T. Williams. I think it was Tyrone Williams, or got pushed or something like that. And that gave us another 15 yards. But it was definitely that last drive and just, going through that, making the plays and being able to get that field goal in. And then almost, Nebraska coming right back down the field and getting a chance to kick that field goal at the end too. And I was just over there on the sideline praying that we ain't lose it again on the field goal.
Yeah. Ed, let's hear your most memorable moment. I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of them based on what happened in that game.
From the sounds of it, I should have went first, man. They just had me living through painful memories there. We started off right at the end, huh? Now, I'm going to tell you what stood out to me. And Barnett, I don't know if you remember this or not, but I think Florida State got the ball first. And, we used to bring pressure and do things. And we line up the first series of the game. And, I'm kind of standing there trying to act like not tip my hand, whether I'm blitzing or not. And Floyd looks over, he says, "Come on, Stu, I see you. I'm right here, I'm ready. Come on." And I'm looking, I'm thinking, this dude is excited to block. I said, this is going to be a real game here today. I said, these guys came to play, and it was a intense, well-played, physical ball game. But, from the start, they let us know, and bar none in particular, let me know that he was out there. He was waiting. He was ready. They had prepared for us, and they were ready. So it was a great game.
Ed,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Ed, you're not the only one he did that to. He did that to his own teammates.
When you watch film, if you watch film, you know what's going on. So I watched film, and I knew how you stood. I knew your stance when you was coming to me. I said, okay, Stu coming. I know he coming. Yep.
Well, who did more trash talking, the Nebraska or the Seminoles?
You know what? I talked a little bit. I probably talked a little extra to keep it, to keep everything on a certain level. But I think Dante was talking a little bit of trash. Yeah. Toby Wright was talking a little trash. I think I even heard Trail talk a little trash to me. So, it was a little bit of respect with trash talk. Guys respect, because we played them the year before. So we knew it wasn't going to be a cakewalk, because we just played each other the year before in the Orange Bowl. So, we understand it was going to be a battle, and it was.
Well, I guarantee you, Kevin Knox was talking trash too.
Oh yeah, yes.
Charlie, did they ever talk trash as soon as you got up to the line of scrimmage to try and distract you?
No, they just decided they wanted to hit me late a few times.
Charlie, we couldn't catch Charlie, man. So by the time you did catch him, you was out of breath. You didn't have time to talk trash to him.
Ed, you're no stranger to playing in the Orange Bowl, obviously, and you're playing Florida State. It's basically their home game. What was the sense going in? I mean, did you feel any? I mean, 17.5-point underdogs. I have to believe that you had to go in and go, listen, we're just going to go out here and do the best we can, have some fun, and see where this goes, because we can prove a lot. But if I know you always want to go in and win, but tell me your sense of going into this game.
Well, we always loved going to the Orange Bowl and playing in the Orange Bowls. The Orange Bowl committee did a tremendous job, but personally, we always enjoyed playing, the Miamis and the Florida States, because you were right. It was, playing in their backyard, and, they always had so much talent and so much speed. I mean, that was really the key. They had so much speed, and they would stress you in so many ways. So we were, had been there 2 games before, and been on the losing end of the stick, and didn't feel like we were getting a lot of respect coming in. And so we knew we wanted to try to prove ourselves and make a point, but we knew it would be a tall order in facing the caliber of team that we were going up against. Right.
And Charlie, with the fast break offense, the speed of Florida State, I mean, it was like a track team. Did it kind of set you back on your heels a little bit going in? I mean, after that first 2 or 3 series that you found yourself, you knew they were going to be physical, but maybe not that physical. Like, oh goodness me! Now we're going to have to really start pulling some rabbits out of our hat.
I'm not saying I don't think we need to pull rabbits out of that, because we were just as plain Jane as they're going to come. At that point in time, they weren't doing anything that they didn't show on film, and us vice versa. I know the first series we came out in I formation, which was kind of playing to their strengths, and we dibbled and dabbled into the fast break offense, where we were going split back, shotgun, and also 4 wides. And so we kind of mixed it in after the first couple of series when we got stuff. But we knew going into the game it's going to be very tough. And we had prepared ourselves for it mentally and physically to be able to play that style of football. Even though people would call us finesse, fast break, those types of things. But we were just a good mix when it came to our offense, where we could, smash mouth, or we could spread you out. That was just the versatility that we had. But they were a solid team, and we knew that. And it was very physical throughout the game, but especially those first few series where we were trying to line up and play to their strengths. And it wasn't very good.
Yep.
William, all right, I got to ask you. Well, first, there were a couple of interesting calls in this game. That stand out, like, the red lights start flashing. The punt return for a touchdown, Ed. It's called back because of a clip, but when we looked at the tape, there was no clip. And then, William, your touchdown, you're diving over the pile, you lose the ball. Refs say you cross the plane, touchdown, but in fact, the replay shows, well, maybe it wasn't quite like that. Why don't you weigh on in yours first? And I'm assuming there was a little trash talking after that too, William.
Oh yeah, definitely some trash talk. I still get some trash talk if I see Trev or if I see Toby today. So they always still have a little something to say about it. But I tell them it's all good. Y'all won it a couple times after that. But I will say, this is what I say about that touchdown. That should have never happened in the first place.
Exactly.
Because if you go back and look at the tape, if you go back and look at that game, what you will see is the play before that. I was in the end zone moonwalking, doing the moonwalk in the end zone. That should have been a touchdown. So it should have never came to the play where I was trying to be too fancy and go over the top trying to do something I didn't have to do in the first place, leave the ground. But I got fancy, went up a little bit. And I will say this, looking at the filming and how everybody kind of judges it today, they probably would have still said to say the same, because I don't think it would have been enough to overturn it. The ref was in the way, you couldn't really see the angle, so I don't even know if it would have got overturned today. I don't think it would have been
where's
enough
replay
evidence
review?
to overturn that.
Ed, would you like to respond to that?
Well, I think that's beautiful, man. We always say all the time, officiating is just a part of the game, man. That's one of the things that, it's changed so much now. We have this desire to be perfect, but, I always go back and put it on us, man. We had a lead with a minute and 16 seconds left, and give these guys all the credit. They were able to get the ball down the field and score. We still had a shot at the end to try to put some points on the board, and it was, an extraordinary game. And, I'm still looking for the flag on the clip, but, it is what it is. And that's what I think makes the game great, makes the game memorable. So it was great.
Yeah, it went down to the wire. I mean, that's a game that it literally went down to the wire.
Yeah, let's talk about that final 3.5, 4 minutes, because really it came down to execution. It came down to misexecution, it seemed like in some cases. But Lawrence Phillips comes out. He gets a score for you guys. You take the lead, and walk us through that last 3.5 minutes. But here's what I want to ask William Floyd first, okay? So in the 23rd Super Bowl 23, there's a legendary story about Joe Montana in the huddle. Ball's at the 8-yard line. He's got to drive 92 yards to beat the Bengals in this Super Bowl. And before he gets in the huddle, he's looking around and he sees John Candy in the stands. And he gets in the huddle and he goes, "Hey, y'all see John Candy's here watching the game?" And all the players in that huddle said that sort of took all the tension away. Now, when you look at this gentleman right here, Charlie Ward, he still looks like, Charlie Cool. What was he like in the huddle during those last minutes of this big game?
Wow. Okay. This is if you've seen the game and if you've seen the replay of the game, you will see Charlie on the sideline warming up. He's throwing the ball. I don't know who he's throwing the ball with, but I think Nebraska scores right then. And he looks up and he's like, they score? And then he refocuses himself and keeps throwing the ball to whoever he's throwing it to. It was the same thing on the field. And that's what I was telling him not even a couple of months ago, man. That's not too many. I don't even remember a time where I looked in Charlie's eyes, even if we're down, even in that Notre Dame game, and didn't believe that he was going to bring us back. That was the type of confidence that we had in him, and we didn't come up short on a lot. We came up short one game that season. But, when we went out there on the field, we just knew we had the right guy at the right time, that if it was going to happen, he was going to be the guy to make it happen. So we had total confidence that he wasn't going to be the one to make the mistake. We had to make sure we complimented him, and we didn't make the mistake. We knew we were going to make the right decision. He did all year. He was a Heisman Trophy winner.
I know. Charlie, were you as cool as it looked, or did you have some angst going on? Did you have some butterflies in that stomach of yours?
No. I mean, when you start thinking about, being a competitor, and, you have an opportunity to win a game. I don't know one kid that is not in the backyard, when they're a small kid talking about, leading the game-winning drive or making the last shot, at the buzzer. I think that's everyone's dream. When they're a small kid and they're thinking through what they want to be and how they want to do it. And I had an opportunity in a national championship game to do that. And a lot of some people do shy away from those moments. But I know for me, when it was all said and done, you're either going to be a hero or you're going to be a GOAT, one of the two. And that's the way you have to look at it. You go out and you prepare yourself for it. And I prepared myself to be able to lead the drive by all the things we have been doing in practice. And, had a very good defense to go against each and every day. Whenever we did a 2-minute drill, they were very competitive. And so, it was just a matter of us going out and executing I know there's a defense on the other side that has a job to do. But when it's all said and done, as a quarterback, you definitely have to be calm, cool, and collective, when you're out there, because if they see any kind of panic in your eyes, it's going to trickle down. It'll be a trickle down effect because you're the one making the decisions. And so you're driving the bus, and if the bus driver's calm in a tough situation, then most times the people on the bus are calm as well. And so I'm grateful, that they trusted me to go out and get the job done. But of course, just like any other team, you have to have teammates to make plays. And on that drive, we did have some guys step up and make plays in order for us to, win the game.
Right. And Ed, did you all think that minute 16 left, 76 seconds left on the clock, you take the lead, the way your defense had been playing, did you feel fairly confident that you finally had a win for Coach Osborne?
I mean, we knew it would go down to the wire because we knew the type of team we were facing. And when you get with limited time, that picks up the pace. So they're going to be moving faster. But you're right, we were playing well all game and felt just like, hey, all we need is one more stop. But, unfortunately, we had some mistakes. We had the late hit out of bounds, and that was a penalty. I think we had a pass interference. They hit Warwick out the backfield a couple of times, one for a pretty decent-sized chunk. And so, we just weren't able to get him shut down soon enough, and he got down in field goal range. And, I wish that history of missing those kicks would have continued that night, but it didn't. It went in. And so that's it. Ball game over, right?
Yeah. Well, listen, we just have a few minutes left, and I think you deserve this, Ed, because you all came back in '85 and won the national championship and finally got one for Coach Osborne. And that had to make you all feel great because I know the love you all had and still have for the coach. I mean, he's an incredible man.
Yeah, that was great. After coming down and losing so many times before, and he was starting to go through the same experience that Coach Bowden was about not being able to win the big one. It was great to finally do that. And then I guess I have to thank Charlie and Barnum because for the whole offseason, we had a minute 16 on the clock at the end of every practice session. We had an extra minute and 16-second session, and we were dedicating ourselves to make sure that we would get back to that moment and that time and hopefully be able to finish it. And fortunately, we were the following year. So that was pretty special.
And you did it masterfully. You really wore Miami down. After even
beat them down.
Yeah, I mean, Miami had taken a big lead, and yet you all still just came back and just absolutely wore them down. Gentlemen, this has been an amazing, amazing period of time. I've got to give you all the floor just for one last thought. And Ed, since you said I should have started with you, I'm going to start with you at the end, okay, buddy? So I want to get some final thoughts from you. And again, we're very grateful that you were able to spend some time with us tonight.
Tony, this is awesome. Thank you for having us. It's exciting to share this stage with two fellow competitors, two people, and to hear all the outstanding things that they've done in their career. This is what makes college athletics special. And so we had great opportunity as players, great experience, and glad to be a part of it and try to ensure that future young men and generations have a similar opportunity. So good to be with everyone and appreciate it.
Charlie?
I'll definitely piggyback off of Ed. I appreciate you guys having me on. Orange Bowl was definitely great to us during our time there. We got an opportunity to play in two games, two bowl games, and was grateful to be able to win one of those for a national championship. But be able to be on with Ed, who I had great respect for. And he's doing great things now. And then, of course, William Barnum, Floyd, my right-hand man who took care of me. Nobody could touch me because Floyd was always, excuse me, Floyd was always there for me. And so I'm definitely grateful for him. And I appreciate you guys having me on. And go Noles.
That's right.
William?
Oh man, first off, thank you for having me. Just like the guy said, what a great opportunity it is just to reminisce a little bit. You know, you don't really take it back that far sometimes, but just to get there and talk about it, discuss with some of the guys that were there with you, that you went to war with, that you went to war against, and a lot of love and respect for both of these guys that I'm blessed to be on this, this Zoom with tonight. So thank you for having us again. What a tremendous opportunity it was to play for Coach Bowden, to play at Florida State University, to be able to have the success I did in my career and watch these two young men do the same thing. They're not young anymore. We're young at heart, but I think you can see we're getting a little bit up there. But God is good, and great being on with you guys tonight. Much love, Ed. Much love, Charlie, and talk to you guys soon.
Well, let me tell you what, we knew this was going to be fun. We didn't think it was going to be this much fun. So this was an amazing 30 minutes. I want to thank Charlie Ward, William Floyd, and Ed Stewart for joining me today. And as I mentioned at the top, this is the first in a series of In the Trenches. Keep an eye on your email for information on when our next video will take place and who will be involved. In the meantime, we're hopeful of having you join us. Yes, we are, for the 87th Orange Bowl on Saturday, January 2nd. And we invite you to check out our orangebowl.org for additional information on the game and the tickets. From all of us here at the Orange Bowl, I'm Tony Segreto. Thank you so much for joining us.